good last practice before we take a little bit of break for Christmas, and I thought the guys were really focused and into it, and they need a little bit of time off, so they'll get to go spend some time with their families, which is well deserved and needed, and we'll come back on the 27th, get ready to crank it up again.
Were there specific things that you wanted done by today before the break, and that you feel like you got those specific things?
There were. You know, we wanted to, you know, basically get back to the, you know, to the fundamentals of football: blocking, tackling. It wasn't so much scheming. You know, although we obviously worked on some general things, but for the most part, we were trying to get back into the flow of just the fundamentals of football. You know, we were off for 2 weeks plus, and we're close to that anyway, but we just felt like we needed to get back into the swing of things. So that's what we did for the last 4 days. I think it was good, and obviously we still have a pretty good stretch before we play, so we still got some improvement we can have.
Gene, do you now going to be off almost another week? Do you kind of lose some of that and have to kind of knock the rust off again when you get back?
Maybe a little bit for the first couple of days, Philip. You know, this isn't too terribly long of a break, you know, but there may be a little bit of that, you know, again, but there's such a good stretch. You know, we've got 5 or 6 days of practice here, and we've got another, you know, 4 or 5 days out there. So, you know, in a typical game week, you get about 3 days of practice, you know, so you're still looking at, you know, plenty of time to be able to, you know, get accomplished what you need to.
How much of them, you know, the importance of them doing the right thing when they're on their own and all that. Can you really blow your conditioning over like 3 days?
I hope not. Probably could, but
yeah.
I hope not. You know, I hope not. You know, again, I mean, you know, it's like anything else. You know, these guys have to be different than everybody else out there. They've got to go out there and they've got to always keep in mind what they have at stake that nobody else has at stake. And you know, they just got to they got to understand that, and that's a big part of what they need to understand when, you know, the next 4 or 5 days when they go home and they're around all their friends and nobody has the same thing riding on anything that they do.
With a lot of the coaches, players talk about how intense and football is all the time with you.
Yeah.
How tough is it for you now to take a Christmas break knowing that there's a game out there? I mean, you have a chance to relax on.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, usually during Christmas you get away for a day or two, you watch some football, get with the family, so that'd be good. But I mean, it'll still be on my mind. I still have my computer with me. There'll be times I'll probably get up early in the morning, but I'll be able to flip the switch, I think, and enjoy some family time.
What does it mean to you to have Rhett get a job like he has and kind of looking at him?
Yeah, well, I'm real proud of him, and then I figured out we play him next year. So, you know, the stress level's already kicked in for me. You know, he knows all the signals. But, no, he's got a great mind. He's going to be a great coach. His best days are ahead of him, and he definitely deserves some of the credit for what we've done. I mean, I ask a lot of him. He's not a normal GA. I ask a lot of him during games and game planning and everything, so he'll do a great job.
Is he going to be
Similar is what they do to what Gus does.
Oh, there are a lot of similarities. The big similarities that score a lot of points and go up and down the field really fast. But there's some things within the spread that are constant with most spread teams, with obviously each team having their own variation of it. But there are some similarities, and that we've worked a lot against our offense from a tempo standpoint, which has been really, really great work for our defense.
Yeah, talk about Michael James. What makes him such a good running back?
I tell you, it's like he goes through the eye of the needle sometimes in some of his cuts. You're watching the end zone tape, and there's absolutely no hole there, and then all of a sudden here comes this guy squirting out of there that goes 80 yards. But he's a guy that stays alive and keeps his feet moving, and as he moves laterally, looks for creases, and then when he sees a crease, he hits it, and he goes, and people don't catch him. But I tell you how durable he is and how physical he is. You can see he's really, really, really competitive on tape, and we have a lot of respect for him.
How different